So today we are going to study Union Executive. We have already studied about the Union Legislature. Today we will be talking about Union Executive. Now we are already aware that government has three main organs. The functioning of the government depends on these three organs: the legislature, the executive, and judiciary. These three organs, they are both present at the center level also and at the state level also. The government has the three organs. What is the task of legislature? Legislature is the law making body. We have studied in the previous chapter the union legislature and the state legislature. The union legislature comprises of the union parliament, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. And at the state level, we have the state legislative assemblies, and at some places, state legislative councils, the Vidhan Sabha and the Vidhan Parishad. They are the law making bodies. The laws are made in the parliament. So legislature's task is to make the law. Then coming to the executive body, this organ of the government, it deals with the implementing the law. Whatever law has been made in the parliament, in the legislature, they will be implemented by the executive. So today's chapter we are going to talk about the union executive, whose task is to implement the laws that are framed by the union legislature. In the next chapter, we will be talking about judiciary, which is the third organ of the government, which ensures that all the laws that are being framed, that are being implemented, they are being followed by everyone. So this is how a government functions with the help of these three organs. Today we are going to study about the union executive. In union executive, we will be talking about the president, the vice president, the prime minister, his council of ministers, and civil servants. We will be seeing how they implement or enforce the laws that are made in the legislature. So talking about president. The president is the head of the state or head of the government of India. Now here when we say head of the state, does it imply only Uttar Pradesh? We are talking about which state? Uttar Pradesh, or we are talking about Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra? No. Here the state implies the country. He is the head of the state, he is the head of the country, and he is the head of the government of India. Indian president is also the supreme commander of the Indian armed forces. This is another power that the president holds. One important thing is that he is only the nominal head or constitutional head. Now, what is meant by he's just a nominal head? Nominal head that he's just for the namesake head of the state and head of government of India. He's just a constitutional, just for the namesake he's the head. He does not have any real powers. There are powers with the president, but the real powers, the actual powers to actually bring out changes and implement policies and all, they lie with the prime minister. In our country, we have the parliamentary form of government. Our prime minister is chosen only after he gets the majority of the votes directly from the people. In the democracy setup, we citizens go and vote. The political party which gets the maximum vote, amongst themselves, the leader gets chosen as the prime minister. So when we are directly voting for him and directly choosing him, so he is our leader, he is our representative, and he has the real powers. In India, the real powers lie in the hands of the prime minister, and the president is just a nominal head, or just a in constitution it is given. So he's just a constitutional head with no real powers. Still, being a president is holding a position of great prestige, great authority. The president is also referred to as the first citizen of India. So, who is called the first citizen of India? It is the president of India. The wife of president is known as the first lady. So, these are certain, terms that are given to the president. So, you should be aware that president is the head of the state and head of the government of India. He is also the supreme commander of the Indian armed forces. While he is just a nominal or the constitutional head, the real power lies in the hand of the prime minister. And yet he is a person of great authority. We will be seeing what all powers does the president have and what all functions he does. So it is not being It is being a matter of great prestige to be a president also. So, eligibility criteria. Talking about, in case you want to become the president of India, what are the qualifications that you should meet? First of all, you should be a citizen of India. Then you must be 35 years of age or above. If you are below 35 years of age, you cannot become the president. You're not qualified to become a president. Then third condition is he must be qualified to be a member of Lok Sabha. That is, we have studied in the previous chapter what are the qualifications required to become a member of Lok Sabha. So if you are fulfilling all those requirements, then you will be eligible to become the president. Again, point to be noted that here it is being talked that you must be qualified to be a member of Lok Sabha, not the Rajya Sabha, but the requirements that are to be met to become a member of Lok Sabha. That is, you should be 25 years of age, citizen of India, mentally sound, not a criminal, and so on. Then another important thing is that you should not hold any office of profit under the central, state, or local government. That is, you should not be employed in any of these, government jobs at the central level or at the state level or at the local level. You should not hold any office. You should not be employed in any government job at the same time. When you are the president, you are only the president. You cannot hold any other office at the same time. Then you should not be a member of the union or state legislature. That is, you cannot be member of the Lok Sabha, you cannot be member of the Rajya Sabha or the state legislature, that is Vidhan Sabha or Vidhan Parishad, and go on to become the president. No, when you are the president, you only hold that office. You cannot be a member of the union or the state legislature at the same time. One more thing, do not get confused. When here it is said he must be qualified to be a member of Lok Sabha, it means that you should fulfill the requirements to become the member of Lok Sabha, but you should not be a member of Lok Sabha. You should not be a member of Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. You should only qualify those. If you are fulfilling those requirements, then you are qualified to become the president of India. So these are certain eligibility criteria that you will have to remember. As you can have a look, who is the president of India, who is the current president of India? It is Mr. Ramnath Kovind. And what is the president of India also known as? The first citizen of India. Then talking about election of president. We have seen what all requirements are needed if you want to become the president of India. Now, how the election procedure of president is done. Let us see that. Now, it is very important. There are certain terms, key terms that you have to remember as it is and use them in your answers as it is. The election of President of India is done through Electoral College. The setting that you see, Electoral College, you have to learn it as it is. It is very important. It is a key term. The election of President is done through Electoral College. Now, what is this Electoral College? This Electoral College, it comprises of elected members. Here, elected term is very important. We are only talking about the elected members and not the nominated members. So, Electoral College consists of the elected members of both the houses of parliament, the Union Parliament, both the houses, Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and the elected members of the state legislative assemblies, that is Vidhan Sabha, not Vidhan Parishads, only the Vidhan Sabhas. So, what is meant by elected members of both the houses of parliament? We have studied in the previous chapter that in Lok Sabha, there are certain members who are elected and there are certain members who are nominated by the president. There are two members who are nominated by the president from the Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha, and in the Rajya Sabha, there are 12 members who are nominated by the president who belong to, distinguished fields. So these nominated members, since they are nominated by the president himself, so they do not get the chance to vote to elect the president. No, it is only the elected members of both the houses of Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha who will go on to vote to elect the president. And then same way here in the state legislative level, the elected members of the Vidhan Sabha, the state legislative assemblies, get the chance to vote for the election of the president. So That is why this term elected members is very important. First thing, president is elected to the electoral college, which comprises of the elected members of both the houses of parliament, Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and the state legislative assemblies, the Vidhan Sabha. Do not mention the Vidhan Parishads here, remember. And now the last term important is the secret ballot. So they elect through this secret ballot. What is this secret ballot? You must be aware when your parents they go to cast vote, if you have ever gone with them. At a separate place, this voting machine, ballot machine is kept, where they will secretly go to this place at the corner, cast their vote. Nobody else gets to have a look who the person is voting for. So it is done secretly. You never show your vote to anyone. You can cast your vote for anyone. You don't have to tell anyone. It's a secret process. So similarly here also it's a secret ballot system, wherein the people go, these elected members of the both the houses of parliament and the Vidhan Sabha, they go and cast the vote secretly without telling anybody else who they are casting the vote for. So it is done through this process of secret ballot. So whenever you asked about the election of president, you have to remember these terms. It is done through electoral college, which comprises of the elected members of both the houses of union parliament and the Vidhan Sabhas, done through the secret ballot. Then talking about the term of office. For how long is a president elected? We see that the president of India is elected for a term of 5 years. So once elected, he will continue the office for 5 years. But under certain conditions, he can vacate the office even before the completion of this term. That is, even before 5 years, he can vacate the office under these conditions. One, in case of death. Obviously, if the president dies, the office falls vacant. Another person has to be chosen. Another person has to come up and take his place. Then the second condition is if he resigns. So if the president decides that he no more wants to continue being the president, he can resign by submitting his resignation to whom? To the vice president. So he can resign and vacate his office even before the completion of 5 years. And the third case is in which he can be removed from the office. Before the completion of 5 years, he can be removed from his office by this process of impeachment. Now, impeachment, again, we have studied in the Union Legislature chapter. You need to revise in civics. Everything is linked. You need to revise that to understand this. We studied about the powers of the parliament, the judicial powers, where the parliament has the power to remove the president, the vice president, the judges of Supreme Court and High Court through this process of impeachment. So the parliament can remove the president even before the completion of 5 years through this process of impeachment. Now, why will the parliament want to remove the president? In case he is found indulging in corruption or treason, that is, he is acting against the interests of the country. So, in case of such betrayal, he can be removed. Or if he is found indulging in unconstitutional activities, that is, he is violating the constitution, he is not following the constitution, he is indulging in activities which are against the constitution. So, in that case, he can be removed from the office. So, the term of president is 5 years, but he can be removed or he can leave the office even before the completion of 5 years in case of death, resignation, or impeachment. And why is this impeachment done? For violating the constitution, or for corruption, or for betrayal, acting against the interest of your country in that case. So the term of office is clear to you. Then moving on to the next part, Rashtrapati Bhavan. I'm sure you must be aware that the President of India in Hindi is known as Rashtrapati. What is the Prime Minister in Hindi known as? Pradhan Mantri. And who is the Rashtrapati? It is the President. When we are talking about Rashtrapati Bhavan, as the name suggests, Bhavan means house or home. So it is Rashtrapati Bhavan, that is the house or the home of the President. The President of India, he lives at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which is located in New Delhi. It is his official residence. So for the time period that he is the president, the person is the president of India, he or she gets to live in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. That becomes his official residence. So that is where he'll be staying and he'll be provided with all the security. So the president of India, he lives at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Originally, this was known as the Viceroy's house. So you can have a look at the picture. How does this Rashtrapati Bhavan actually look like? Where does the President of United States live in? He lives at the White House. And similarly, where does the President of India lives? He lives at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi.